Welcome everyone here to Las Cruces, New Mexico. Tuesday night college football between Louisiana Tech and New Mexico State. The Bulldogs with a 3rd down and 6. Bullock's pass is incomplete. And it's going to be 4th and 6. Louisiana Tech at the New Mexico State 40-yard line. Tyler Martinez was in there to kind of break that one up. Decision time here, Forrest. What do you got?
I go for it. You're on their side of the field. You feel confident about your team. You feel good that you can get 6 yards.
Alongside Forrest Connolly, Mike Corey with you here tonight. Second offensive series that Louisiana Tech has had. They recovered the ball off a muffed punt by New Mexico State. Now going for it on a 4th down and 6. Evan Bullock is the quarterback. He's in trouble. He's taken down and sacked by Cale Edwards. And New Mexico State will take over on downs.
That was a good job by Bullock. He had nowhere to go with the football. They played a cover 3. They had 3 deep safeties, and he did a good job of not trying to force it in there. Good job by the New Mexico State defense to get another stop.
New Mexico State getting a 3 and out and then a 4 and out for their defense to get it back for the offense here with 8:42 to play in this first quarter of action. Tony Sanchez, head coach, back at his alma mater now, where he started his career as a student assistant way back in 1996. Now the head coach in his first season. More on him in a moment as Awad rolls out and gets across midfield and has a New Mexico State 1st down, and now they're going to mark it just shy. Now mark him out at the 49-yard line. There's Sanchez.
And one of the things Coach Sanchez talked to us about, he said, look, we were 1-5 a couple of years ago, finished 6-1. We know it's a different staff, it's a different team, different coaching staff, but we've got to lean on that because we know it's possible. And that's what they're leaning on right now, understanding they've done what they're trying to do right now before.
2nd and a yard, and here come the flags.
Offside. Defense number 90 with contact. 5-yard penalty, resulting in 1st down.
And David Blay, the nose tackle, jumped early. 1st down, New Mexico State.
And you probably got him with the hard count. Good job by Awad.
Seth McGowan in the backfield. Jerry Lydiot is the tight end. It was the motion man to the right side. Here's a deep ball now, and up for grabs. It's incomplete. Cordell David was the intended target that time for the Aggies.
And if you notice what they did on that play, they brought the tight end in motion. That allowed them to see that they were playing, what type of defense they were playing. He had his receiver down the field. He just needs to throw it more inside as opposed to throwing it over his head. And sometimes as a quarterback, when you see your guy that open, you get so excited. You put a lot of energy into throwing that football. Just take a little bit off of it.
They've got a few players out tonight for New Mexico State. In the wide receiver group, Donovan Papel and Latrell Neville not available for this game. And then you had Monty Watkins, who's
for an injury to an official.
One of their top running backs as well. He is also out with a concussion. We've got an injury timeout with one of the officials, as you heard. So we'll come back in a moment. 7:47. Welcome back to New Mexico State. 2nd and 10 for the Aggies from the Louisiana Tech 44-yard line. There's Sonny Cumbie, who spent 9 years as the offensive coordinator of both Texas Tech and TCU. Now in his 3rd season here at Louisiana Tech.
And how huge is it for him to give up play calling duties when he's done so well with that? But he talked about wanting to create more explosives for this offense. And sometimes it takes a different philosophy, Mike, than what you've been doing and what you've been successful with. You want to mix it up a little bit. So I like what he did by allowing Nathan Young to now call these plays.
Yeah, one of the co-offensive coordinators, Young, is calling the plays, as you said. But right now, 2nd down and 10 for New Mexico State, with Awad handing off to McGowan. Good run there from McGowan. Gets down to the 37-yard line, picks up 7.
And one of the things you'll notice about McGowan and Washington, when they run the football, they're what I call fall forward backs. no matter if they gain 1 yard, it's because they fell forward. They might have gotten stopped or blunted in the backfield, but they were able to fall forward. These are guys that are fall forward backs. They keep running. They run behind their pads. So it'll be interesting if they continue to feed them, which I think they need to do. Feed these guys. Allow them to run the football. They're those types of backs that need the ball.
You just saw the numbers from last year as they try to swing it out into the flat to McGowan, and it's incomplete. Just under 200 rushing yards per game, which was 14th in FBS. But, you know, you and I were talking about this. Year to year, things change so much now. You know, you want to go back and say, well, they did this and they did that. And look at these last 2 years. Teams are so different now, right? I mean, it's hard to kind of say, hey, what happened? You know, it's just different.
Well, you have to figure out your talent because talent is constantly moving. When you look at this team, there's 36 new players on this football team this season.
4th down here, and now New Mexico State is going to go for it. Awad, pressure, gets rid of it, it's caught, and it's going to be shy of the 1st down. Catch is made by David, Cordell David. Isaiah McElvain makes the tackle for Louisiana Tech. So the Aggies stop the Bulldogs on 4 downs, and now Louisiana Tech returns the favor.
And the senior Cordell David has to know where the sticks are. You've got to clear the sticks before you come across the field. You know they're going to bring pressure. If you look as the route continued to develop, he got more shallow coming back towards the quarterback. You've got to make sure you're way beyond the sticks if you're going to come back towards the quarterback. There was no need for him to come back that far.
So what do we have here tonight, Forrest? We've got 2 3-and-outs and 2 4-and-outs. Each team here. 3rd opportunity on offense now for the Bulldogs with 6:52 to play in the 1st.
Well, I think that's can be attributed to both defenses coming and being ready to play.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back. 1st down and 10 for Louisiana Tech from their own 36 when we return.
You've got Sam Houston State in Western Kentucky playing on this week, so that's going to change the standings as well because somebody that is undefeated is going to have a loss.
Fred Robertson on the carry for Louisiana Tech, and Naki Fahina on the tackle. Robertson's going to go out now. True freshman from New Orleans. Now Amani Gibbons is in. Jimmy Holiday back there as well, and he's going to take it up to the 40-yard line. A short gain, going to be 3rd down and 6 on the way.
What's interesting, Mike, you know, when you talk about offensive lines, they usually bring in their big people packages when they're down on the goal line and for short yardage. But when you look at this Louisiana Tech offensive line, they are a big people package. They average 6'4", 329 pounds across the board. And these big boys get to moving. They move people. They are people movers at the point of attack.
Yeah, right there on that left side, you saw 51 Keys at 344 and Hale at 348, 79. That left side of that offensive line. Wiggins is back in the backfield. 3rd down and 6. Bulldogs pass incomplete. One in True Edwards, blanketed there in the coverage by New Mexico State. Dylan Early got in there with a hit on the quarterback as well.
And you mentioned the number 51, Daniel Keys, 6'5", 344. Look at the footwork by the big fella out there, number 51. Keeping that outside shoulder away from the defender. The defenders are always trying to get to that outside shoulder to give them leverage to get around the edge to the quarterback. But the big fella was able to keep that outside shoulder back and use that inside hand for leverage to get a good punch.
Both offenses struggling early here in this 1st quarter, ready to punt, and once again back to return. Now it's going to be Jordan Smith this time. Remember, they had muffed the punt the last time TJ Pride did, and Louisiana Tech had gotten the ball, but they got stopped on 4 downs. And after a 48-yard kick, New Mexico State will start deep in their own territory. But how about these games coming up?
He was not as crisp as he usually is, but it was a good game for him to get back, you know, in the Red River rivalry and get that big win. But, you know, when you talk about Carson Beck and this Georgia ball club, Carson Beck, last week 459 yards passing, but 2 turnovers. When you think about that Georgia game, that Alabama game, 4 turnovers. Now he steps back into a hostile environment, and he has to play big in the biggest of moments. So it will be a very interesting football game, especially against that Texas defense.
Just saw Isaiah Ruddison that time run for 10 yards for New Mexico State and a first down to the 22. McGowan and Ruddison in the backfield. To the left and right of Awad. It's McGowan. And another good run here as he gets across the 30-yard line. That's going to be close to another first down. Colby Fields at the tackle will give him 10 again, and that's 2 straight 10-yard runs for the Aggies.
And watch McGowan give you all the intangibles that you look for from the back. He's able to be shifty. He's able to show power. He's able to show balance. And once again, that fall forward. That's what these backs from New Mexico State do extremely well. Fall forward.
It's what you were talking about early in the open. We haven't seen Mike Washington, although that much right yet for New Mexico State, but they're moving the ball here nicely as this is McGowan, and he'll be taken down this time after a short gain by Zach Zymos.
Now, what I don't like about that play is the stretch play. You're trying to get him to the outside with how fast this Louisiana Tech defense plays. They get up the field. I don't think left and right is going to be successful. You've got to get downhill immediately.
Zymos, top tackler on this team for Louisiana Tech. 40th of the season, transfer out of Arkansas. Second down and 8. Play fake pressure. Awad is hit as he throws and gets rid of it. Another just short pickup that time. The catch by Jerry Liddy at the tight end. Awad took a shot on Makai Mason.
And you see what the defensive line is doing. They're slanting to one side, creating a crease for the linebacker to get up the field. That's what you want to do. You want to create a crease so you have those linemen, they're blocking zones, so they're going with those defenders, creating that lane for the defender to get up the field to put pressure on Awad.
Cordell David in motion to the slot. The bottom of your screen, 4 wide receivers. McGowan coming out of the backfield. Awad directing traffic, throwing on the run, and the catch is made. Across the 45-yard line, he's got P.J. Johnson III for a first down as Blake Thompson made the tackle, but the drive will continue. A gain of 12.
And a good job by the offensive line picking up the blitz. And you see right here on the route, he's able to find a hole in the zone, give his quarterback a target. That's what you want to do. When you find a hole, sit down, give your quarterback a radius to throw that football.
And New Mexico State doing a good job here of also changing up the running backs as Gans is back in, and he gets the call here, and he runs well across midfield. That's Tim Gans. And Forrest, it's just his second game of the season for him, the junior out of Missouri City, Texas.
And once again, when you've got a guy that hasn't played much, there's not a lot of game planning for him. You can't prepare for what you don't know.
Second down and 5.
And they need to keep running the football. Keep the pressure on this Louisiana Tech defense trying to stop the run.
Back to Gans. Couple yards shy of the first down. McElvain on the tackle for Louisiana Tech. We're under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
And we're getting good movement at the point of attack from the 2 guards in the center, the middle of that offensive line.
A.J. Vaipulu, number 51, the guard on the left side. B.J. Tolo is a redshirt freshman on the right. And Kanan Yarrow, the center, the transfer out of Southern Utah, the senior for New Mexico State.
And they've got 6 offensive linemen on this series, on this play right here. Shamar Jackson is in the game.
McGowan needs the 44, and he's going to have it. Jesse Evans makes the tackle for Louisiana Tech, but what a big hit here.
And you see right here, McGowan gets in the hole, and boom!
Blake Thompson.
You cannot run in there with your head down. That is not good by Blake Thompson. You've got to keep your head up. You've got to see what you're hitting. It's grown man business down in those trenches.
Movement here, yes. Here
Blake Thompson found out. But it goes back, Mike, once again to the power that Seth McGowan runs with.
False start. Offense number 51. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And they got Vaipulu that time, the left guard. How about this drive, though, that's developing here for us? 4 first downs already for the Aggies on this drive.
You see what they're doing? They're taking their time now.
Right.
You run the clock.
That's the thing that we talked about coming into this game tonight. You got a tale of 2 teams here. You haven't seen Louisiana Tech move all that fast just yet, but they're more up-tempo, right?
Yes. And for New Mexico State, they just want to get consistency.
Pass in the flat is incomplete. Looking at time for TJ Pride. 6 runs, 3 passes so far on this drive. It'll be second down to 15.
And Makai Mason, once again, got immediate pressure on Parker Awad. When they have these pass plays where it takes time to develop, they're getting pressure on Awad. They're not allowing him to set his feet. And one of the things they're doing well is they're covering those receivers out in the flat. Something they had success with last week, they're not having as much success with because Louisiana Tech are covering those guys up on the outside.
Awad gets it out. P.J. Johnson, he has it. Back into Louisiana Tech territory, taken down just before the 45-yard line by Big Cage, senior cornerback, and that's going to take us to the end of the first quarter. It's going to be a 3rd and long for New Mexico State. When we come back, kids got a chance to run around the field before this game started. Aggies, Corey and Forrest Connolly, and animated Tony Sanchez for New Mexico State there on the sidelines. They've had an impressive drive here. Forrest had started at their own 12-yard line. This is the 12th play of the drive. They've had 2 third down conversions so far. What do you have here, though, on 3rd down and 13?
Screen pass or crossing route. This is 4 down territory.
Empty backfield. Awad, and the pass is dropped.
And he had him on the crossing route. Well, he had him on the crossing route, and that's what you want to do. You want to get the ball to your playmaker in space, allow him to make plays. He doesn't necessarily have to get the first down, but if he's able to get 5 or 6 yards, maybe 7 yards, then you put your team in a position to go for it on 4th down. But a great job on the tackle by Solo Lewis to get him down.
Well, yeah, you had called it there. I mean, that's the right call, just the execution was just not there. So they stall on this drive. 12 plays. They moved it 44 yards in just over 5 minutes, but they're going to have to punt. Eberle and Lewis calls for the fair catch. Nice kick as he gets downed inside the 10, 39-yard boot, but Louisiana Tech's going to have to start at their own 8-yard line on this drive. There's a look at their drives to begin this contest so far. But how about last week, right? They scored a touchdown on 7 of their first 8 drives in that game.
Well, now they're facing adversity. They're facing a defense that has been able to slow them down, shut them down. Now you're backed up against your own goal line. What will they do? They have not been successful with any of their offensive game plan early.
Wiggins trying to push his way forward across the 10-yard line and shoved out of bounds. Tyler Martinez was the first in on the scene for New Mexico State defense. 3-yard gain on the play.
And that's what you want to do if you're Martinez. Stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out. Don't allow him to plant that foot and get north and south. And what that does, that allows pursuit to get there to make the tackle. You cannot give him the edge, because if you do, he's able to plant that foot and get north and south.
Second down and 7, Wiggins again. Short pickup. Aggies defense ready for him. Josiah Charles and Malaki Taase comboing on the tackle.
And the defensive line are doing a good job of disengaging from the offensive linemen as soon as they are able to find those ball carriers. And if you look at the defensive line for New Mexico State, they're way off the football. That allows them to kind of read and react.
Eli Finley, the tight end of the slot, but the handoff goes to Wiggins, and New Mexico State is having none of it. Martinez again on the tackle. It's 4th down.
And you see Martinez, once again, with penetration, getting up the field. And that is why they've been so successful defensively. They've found creases in the offensive line from the defensive standpoint, and they've been in the backfield of La Tech all evening.
For the 5th tackle of the season to lead New Mexico State defensively. 4th down and 3. And Reyes on the punt once again. Jordan Smith, fair catch. And the Aggies will have pretty good field position here to begin this drive. See if they can get something out of it and break this.
But you got to get some W's, man.
See the total yards in this game and the discrepancy as New Mexico State is back on offense here. Helmet comes off. A lot of tasseling going around as Seth McGowan got the carry. That's Michael Clark lost his helmet for Louisiana Tech. I mean, what's going on here? Let's talk about real quick offensively. You know, this Bulldogs team is coming off a game where they had over 500 yards of total offense for the first time since 2021, and they're just being held in check tonight.
They looked like an offensive juggernaut last week. They've been held in check. Both offenses have been held in check. I think when you look at what's going on right now with New Mexico State, with how hard and how fast Louisiana Tech is coming downhill, go with the screen game. Go with the middle screen game.
Back to McGowan. And tackled down after just a gain of 1 by Robertson for Louisiana Tech.
And if you see, Louisiana Tech has been committed to stopping the run. They're bringing everybody down in the box. So they've gotten penetration with their defensive line, with their linebackers blitzing. That's when you go with the screen game. You sell it. You make them feel like they're getting the pressure that they've been getting. Sneak that back out. Or if you want to step it up a little bit, sneak your tight end out.
And you wonder if New Mexico State trying to set something up here. It's still early in the contest. 3 minutes gone by in the second quarter, but it's a 3rd down now for the Aggies. Parker Awad, pressure, hit as he throws, and he's going deep. Cordell David, he has it. Touchdown. It's going to be TJ Pride that gets the touchdown. The freshman, 53 yards, TJ Pride, Aggies on the board first.
And a good job of avoiding the pressure by the outside backer. Parker Awad did a good job of keeping his eyes down the field. You watch those safeties. They got caught looking at Awad. I think they thought he was going to run the football, pressured by Jaden Burnett, but he was able to avoid Burnett and get the ball, deliver a strike down the field. But those safeties, you cannot get caught looking at the quarterback. You've got to stay on top of your man. They allowed the receiver to get on top of him and get behind him, and that is why he was able to get that touchdown. You see right there running past him. There's no way they're going to catch him. Good job on the outside by Parker Awad, getting this to his big play.
Took us to the 8th possession of the night. And finally, points on the board. TJ Pride on the 53-yard catch for the touchdown from Parker Awad. Here it is again for us.
If you look at the bottom of the screen, watch the offensive tackle and the offensive guard. A problem they had last week was dealing with the stunts and the twist, the TE twist. Watch on this play. The tackle does a good job. The guard, he initially had the protection. He got beat, and you saw the late pressure on Awad. He was able to get the ball down the field, but a much better job of blocking that TE twist than they did last week. Something I'm sure Louisiana Tech has been game planning and practicing to try and perform this weekend. Excuse me, tonight.
First career touchdown for TJ Pride, the true freshman from Midlothian, Texas. He was the leading receiver coming into the game tonight with 16 catches and has a huge one right there. And how about for Pride, kind of makes up for muffing the punt earlier. Remember, he was back there, and hey, take a look at this. The dog picking up the ball. They do this here with Wave the Wonder Dog with the T. Bringing it back to the sideline.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike, if he picked up the ball,
excuse me,
that was going to be extremely special.
Yeah, let's see if he does it with the ball this next time. Season-long catch for Pride, and now Louisiana Tech down 7-0. And Bullock, you see it, 1 for 4 for 2 yards so far here in this first half. Carry goes to Robertson, and he gets up across the 30-yard line for a gain of 5.
And you see them going to that fast-paced offense right now.
Going to bunch up 4 at the bottom of the screen. Bullock, he's in trouble. He's going to be sacked. Cale Edwards on the sack for New Mexico State. His first of the season.
And you see Bullock trying to go with the ball fake, but there's immediate pressure. You have to block that up when you're going to go with that long fake right there. A good job getting downhill by Cale Edwards to get the tackle. Once again, when you've got these aggressive defenses, you've got to get the ball out quick.
Aggies with some confidence now after the offensive drive for the touchdown, and now defensively forcing the Bulldogs at a 3rd and 10. Play fake to Wiggins. Bullock's pass caught. First down. True Edwards has it, and he's run out of bounds by Josiah Cox, but a first down, a gain of 14.
And they went with the zone coverage right there. I thought Josiah Cox should have come up right there. You're floating too far behind him. He's past the sticks. You've got to know where the sticks are and force True Edwards behind those sticks. I thought he gave too much ground in that zone coverage.
Look at the game that he had last week versus Middle Tennessee. 6 catches and 7 targets for over 100 yards and a touchdown. Fresh set of downs from the 39-yard line. Another fake to Wiggins. Bullock rolling out of pressure. Flag is thrown. And Bullock scoots out of bounds up at the 47-yard line. We'll check the flag. Possible holding, of course, here on Louisiana Tech. But let's see what they call.
Holding. Offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty.
Got it on the tight end. Finley that time.
And that was a good job by the deep safety for New Mexico State. Bullock wanted to go to True Edwards over in the boundary, and he had man coverage. He was facing press man, and the safety initially was going towards the field side, but he came back over, and Bullock had to change where he was going with the football, which allowed pressure to get to him. So a good job on the back end of that New Mexico State defense.
First down and 20. Fred Robertson's in the backfield now for Louisiana Tech. Bullock. And it's overthrown, incomplete. And another flag is down. One of the tight end, Hunter Tipton, that time.
I wonder if this is that rub route, pick route.
There are 2 flags down.
An eligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 54. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's McGill, Zarian McGill. It's the backup center who is in there on this series. And now it's 2nd down and 25. They're hurting themselves here.
Well, you have to think as an offensive lineman, when your quarterback sprints outside the pocket and gets as close to the line of scrimmage as Bullock got on that play, your mindset goes to he's getting ready to run the football, and I've got to get down the field and block someone.
You had Jimmy Holiday back there who looked like he was going to take the snap, the wide receiver. Along with Amani Gibbons, the running back.
And if you're Louisiana Tech, you don't have to get it all right here. So if I'm the coaching staff and I'm talking to Bullock, I'm saying, we want to get 5 or 6 yards here.
Yeah.
5 or 6 yards the next play.
New Mexico State has elected to decline the ineligible receiver downfield. 2nd down.
All right, so they went over to talk to Coach Sanchez. They want to decline that. So make it 2nd down and 20 instead of the 1st and 25.
You don't have to get it all. 5 to 8 yards right here. What you want to do is get to 3rd and manageable.
Bullock is coming off the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week. And he had the 290 yards, 5 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown last week in Middle Tennessee. Tonight, drastically different here, at least to start. Robertson, good hole off to the left side. Tripped up, but he gets to the 40-yard line. That's a nice gain. Josiah Cox on the tackle. And it's kind of what you just said there for us. You don't have to get it all. Now they got 3rd down and 9 here. They got to get to the 49-yard line.
And a good job by Robertson bouncing it out. If you watch the linebackers on that play from New Mexico State, they got caught up in the traffic, flowing downhill. A good job and a good block by Jimmy Holiday to free him up to get to the outside.
Tight end Tipton is in the slot. Robertson stays in the backfield. 3rd and 9, Bulldogs. Bullock caught. 1st down, and it's Holiday, and he gets to the New Mexico State 40-yard line. Jimmy Holiday and a gain of 20. And the best play of the night for Louisiana Tech.
And a missed tackle on the outside by DeCarrick Hobbs, but a better route by Holiday. You see him go back to the football ever so slightly to make sure he's able to get that reception.
And now Bullock's going to throw this one away as he was facing pressure coming in from Malaki Tiase that time for New Mexico State. And how about that, to be able to overcome a 1st down and 20, right?
Well, smart football. You know, you don't have to get it all back. I thought that 2nd down was key. They got about 12 yards on that 2nd down, putting them in 3rd and 8. And that's what you have to do. You can't try and get it all back in one play.
Tipton in motion. Out to Holiday. And blocking in front there from Edwards and Tipton, the tight end. And nice job there as they get it to one of their top receivers. Sone Apiu on the tackle, gain of 8.
And good blocking on the outside by the receivers. One of the things when you look at these receivers from La Tech, you know, they go 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'1", if you include Eli Finley. So they try and overpower defensive backs, and that's one of the things that Coach Sanchez talked about. Their defensive backs have to occupy the space of these bigger wide receivers.
3rd and 2 here for Louisiana Tech, and it's Robertson, and he is going to try to get to the 30, which he needs for the 1st down, and they're going to call it a first. He's got it. They're saying move the chain. Good job there.
And all you're thinking about if you're Roberts is getting past the 30-yard line. That's all your focus is. Of course, you want to get a touchdown. You want to make a big play, but the objective is to get the 1st down, and a good job and great effort to get that 1st down.
That was the true freshman Robertson that time, and now here's Bullock on a little play fake. Passes over the middle. It's tipped up in the air and incomplete off the hands of Robertson.
Because they've been able to sustain this drive, you're starting to see some of the players from New Mexico State with their hands on their hips. So you want to see substitutions in the ballgame. You've got to get fresh legs because we know what this Louisiana Tech fast-paced offense can do to defenses.
Took each team a little bit to get going here tonight, and now on this drive, it's the 11th play coming up for Louisiana Tech. Their best drive in the night. 2nd down, Jackson goes in motion and takes the handoff, and that's Marlon Jackson. The sophomore wide receiver picks up 2. 3rd and 8.
And a good job getting up the field, not allowing him to turn the corner and plant that foot on that jet sweep.
Bulldogs have a very good field goal kicker in Buck Buchanan, who's 4 of 5 of the season. He's hit from 57 earlier this year, so they are in field goal range. 3rd and 7 on 3rd down tonight with an average of 8 or more, and it's the same thing they have here. 3rd down on this drive. Bullock's pass is caught, and he's got True Edwards for the 1st down.
And what I don't understand defensively is why are they playing such soft coverage? You're giving an 8 or 9 yard cushion, and you're allowing a free release. You see that cushion right there? So when he makes this move to the inside, there's no way the defensive back is going to be able to get up on him and make a defensive play. You cannot give that big of a cushion on 3rd down.
And now it's 1st down and goal here for Louisiana Tech. Trying to respond on this drive. Bullock passes it out, and the catch is made. Dakota Williams. And Williams takes a shot at the 6-yard line by Josiah Cox.
And Cox needs to be careful. That's the 2nd or 3rd time I've seen him lead with his helmet.
Right.
You know, watch Cox on this play. He gets the ball out to Williams. Okay, he led with his shoulder right there, but he's been leading with his head a little bit, so he needs to be careful with that. Make sure you form tackle.
Second down and goal. Robertson to the left of Bullock. Finley, the tight end in the slot to the top of the screen. Bullock looking, going end zone, and it's incomplete. Abdul Fattah Ibrahim was the target that time. It's going to be third down. Zakaric Hobbs was defending there, 24 for New Mexico State.
And I think Bullock wants that one back because he had Fred Robertson out in the flat, and he would have been one-on-one with the linebacker. And I think they'll take that matchup anytime.
Bulldogs have already converted 4 third downs on this drive. It's now third and goal. Bullock eludes pressure to the end zone. It's caught for the touchdown. And he's got True Edwards for his third touchdown catch of the season. And the Bulldogs are a point away from tying this game up.
And they're getting the matchups that they want with True Edwards, 6'3". You see him going across the back of the end zone. A good job by Bullock extending that play. You saw the blitzer run through the running back, DeMarcus Crosby. He got behind the receiver, allowed him to get leverage, and he was not able to try and make a play on that football.
Buchanan just adds the extra point there. A low liner, but it's through, and we're tied at 7. That was a very impressive 15-play drive for Louisiana Tech.
And they did exactly what they wanted to do. Move the ball down the field, get the ball to their big play receiver, True Edwards, and they're able to get the touchdown and tie this football.
4 minutes and 59 seconds to play in this first half. We're tied at 7. This Conference USA matchup tonight with Louisiana Tech and New Mexico State. So it took each team a little bit to get going, right? And then the Aggies score on a 3-play drive, capped off with a 53-yard touchdown. And then we just saw Louisiana Tech on a 15-play drive forced, capped off by the 7-yard touchdown pass.
And how important is it for this New Mexico State to get something going offensively and not have a 3-and-out with the defense that just came off the field for 15 plays?
14th meeting of all time between these two here tonight. Go back to the Big West and then the Western Athletic Conference, and now here in Conference USA. Talked about Louisiana Tech 1-1 in conference play right now. Really important game for them here tonight to try to keep pace. And now we see Mike Washington in the ball game for the first time tonight. The running back to the right of Parker Awad here for New Mexico State. He gets the call and he's taken down. Good job there by Makai Mason.
And Mike, I'm still calling and begging for the middle screen pass because these linebackers are flowing downhill with reckless abandon. They are coming downhill to stop the run. You've got to do something to alleviate some of that pressure.
That was a look at Sifa Leota. Well, those linebackers once again. Handoff up the middle here for Washington. Mike Washington, transfer out of Buffalo, played 27 games there in 3 years and 10 rushing touchdowns. Cage makes the tackle here. It's going to be third down, 3rd and 6 for New Mexico State on their 5th offensive possession of the night.
And Mike Washington has a habit of finding a seam and popping through there extremely fast and quick with power. And with these linebackers flowing downhill, if he's able to get to the second level, there's no defenders there, and it's him versus a defensive back of safety. And I think they'll take that matchup every time if you're New Mexico State.
3 for 6 here tonight, third down with 6 to go. Awad dumps it off to the flat, and now they're going to say incomplete. Dropped by Washington. And Pig Cage was there on coverage once again, number 31. Senior transfer out of UTSA, making the play.
And now you put a defense back out on the field that just went 15 plays and gave up a touchdown. They have not had an opportunity to go over, catch their win, game plan. They're right back on the field. And Louisiana Tech will receive the ball in the second half. So it's paramount that they get a stop here and not allow them to score again before that.
Solo Lewis on the return from Louisiana Tech. And he's decked just across the 45-yard line. A return of 15 yards, though, and the Bulldogs now have it with 3:32 to play. Amani Gibbons is in the backfield now for Louisiana Tech. He gets the call, goes off the left side, breaks it back through the middle, has a first down, gets to the New Mexico State 42-yard line. Nice run there of 13 yards for Gibbons.
Now watch what Gibbons does a good job of. You've got a missed tackle by DeMarcus Crosby. Then he bounces off the defender, keeps his head down, and continues to push forward. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he runs behind his pass, and he runs with aggression.
Under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Gibbons again. He got tripped up, though, there, Forrest, and probably could have had a little bit more.
If he doesn't trip up, he's running for a touchdown, and they're celebrating on the Louisiana Tech sideline. Those linebackers, once again, are flowing downhill. There's no second-level defenders, and the third-level defenders were covered up with receivers out there to block them on the perimeter.
Just the second game of the season, too, as well for Gibbons, junior out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Now Bullock is settled in here a little bit. You see the numbers from the first quarter, just 1 of 4 for 2 yards, and now nice job, and he's going to go split out wide as they get Jimmy Holiday with a direct snap. He throws it back here to Bullock, and Bullock's going to throw a pass deep, going for Jay Wilkerson, and it's incomplete. He got decked. Cale Edwards had the pressure that time, the big hit on Bullock.
And I don't know if Bullock really likes that play right there. Very slow developing play, and he took a shot to his midsection. And you can see afterwards, if you're going to take a shot like that, you want to get the touchdown.
I mean, last Louisiana Tech possession, they had 5 third-down conversions. That was tied for the most in any FBS drive this season. They try to keep this drive alive here on 3rd down and 4 with just over 2 minutes to go. Bullock's pass, low, but caught. And he's got Edwards, who had the touchdown catch and now has a crucial pickup here on 3rd down, and we've reached the 2-minute timeout.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Louisiana Tech back in Las Cruces, New Mexico here. Second quarter with 2 minutes on the clock. Louisiana Tech, they had nothing going offensively to the last drive, but they get 75 yards down the field in 15 plays. Now this drive, they're working on more here. They have completed, Forrest, 6 straight 3rd down conversions. I want to mention this stat again a moment ago in that last possession, that they had 5 3rd down conversions on that drive. There's only 4 times that's happened all of college football by any FBS team this season. So pretty impressive here. And now they got a fresh set of downs with 1st down and 10 just outside the 30. The back is Gibbons to the left of Bullock. He has it. Takes another big hit. We've heard some big hits here tonight in this game. Dashes ahead for about a yard before he's shut down.
And that's grown man business. Tyler Martinez and Dylan Early, they got in there and woke him up. I mean, boom. And that's what you want to do. If you're going to run in between those guards, we're going to make you pay for it when you're a defensive player coming downhill. And we continue to talk about it, Mike. Yeah. We have not seen it from both teams, the screen pass. When you've got aggressive defenses like this, you've got to do something to slow those linebackers down. Get that screen game going. That'll make those linebackers sit back and not come downhill so much.
Bullock's pass. He's got his tight end, Finley. And he's dragged down inside the 5. At the 1-yard line. Eli Finley goes for 28.
And right there, you saw Eli Finley just kind of big boy DeMarcus Crosby. Crosby at 6'2" is one of the bigger safeties, but you see how bigger Finley is at 6'6", and he just dwarfs him and was able to use his basketball body to create space to get that pass.
This turned pretty quick, right? It was nothing happening for either team. New Mexico State got that big 53-yard touchdown. Then they get some momentum defensively, but then now all of a sudden you got 1:08 to go here in a Louisiana Tech team that's about to try to go for the 2-for-1 as New Mexico State calls the timeout. If they score on this drive here, right? And then they get the ball to start the second half, and they can really kind of put the hurt on.
Well, that's why I thought it was so important that last drive for New Mexico State to get a couple of first downs and not put a tired defense back on the field. We continue to talk about that 15-play sustained drive that La Tech had to get that first score. Now you put this tired defense back on the field to try and stop this offense that has gotten into a rhythm. You talked about it early. Bullock did not have a great first quarter at all. Now he's gotten into a rhythm in the second quarter. He knows where he wants to go with the football. They kind of know what the defensive plan is from New Mexico State, and they're beating them to the punch right now.
9-17 now for 106 and a touchdown. Tremendous confidence really for the redshirt freshman, making his third start of his career. A guy who is the third string quarterback to start the year, and now is leading this team here where they've got first down and goal on the doorstep of the 1-yard line.
And they've got their big beef package in. They've got an extra offensive lineman in.
Wiggins. He's in. Touchdown. O'Meary Wiggins scores for Louisiana Tech. Flag is on the field at the 5-yard line. A late flag thrown. After the play.
And not a good flag, because you've got a New Mexico State team that desperately needs to try and put another score on the board before the half, and now you've given them some extra yardage to be able to do so on this kickoff. That flag
Double play is a touchdown. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 82, his first of the game. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the try.
You're right, Forrest. Hunter Tipton that time was called for it for Louisiana Tech, and 75-yard scoring drive backed up by a 55-yard scoring drive, and that's Wiggins' first rushing touchdown of the season. He's got 2 receiving, and so New Mexico State's going to elect here to back him up on the extra point try. So now this is going to be 35-yard extra point.
And Mike, do you take the penalty here, or do you take it on the kickoff?
I know. I probably. Yeah, Buck Buchanan is pretty good here. I mean, he's hit from 57 on the season, and this extra point's good. So I agree with you. I would have maybe rather taken on the kickoff, where you have your 2 timeouts remaining, got a minute 12 to go. I mean, you took a chance that he's going to miss an extra point.
Well, you put yourself closer to possibly even getting into field goal range. Any type of points before the half will give you some momentum, because right now all the momentum is on the La Tech side of the field. When you look at that touchdown, one of the things that stood out, watch those offensive linemen. You see flat backs, you see movement at the point of attack, you see push. Look at all those white jerseys in the end zone and the black jerseys going backwards. That is what you ask for from your offensive linemen. Flat backs, number 72, getting up and putting a body on a body. Hayden Chrisman on those linebackers. 6'6", 324 pounds. He's going to cover those guys up. So that's what you look for on goal line on short yardage. Flat backs, firing off. The first person to make contact is usually the person that's going to win.
Yeah, good stuff on that, Forrest. And back to the point here, though, you're right. I would have rather had a better opportunity to get down the field and possibly get at least 3 than to worry about hoping they'd miss a longer extra point. But now we got another flag down here back at the kickoff spot at the 35-yard line. So let's see what Douglas Mercer has to say with this call.
Offside. Kicking team number 33. 5-yard penalty will be added to the touchback spot. First down.
All right, so they take the extra 5 here off the penalty with a minute 12 to go and 2 timeouts remaining here in this first half. Now, they took a shot downfield earlier. They got a 53-yard touchdown. What are you thinking here, Forrest?
Got to be careful. They've got to be very careful. Remember last week they had some poor play at the end of the half and gave up 14 extra points to Jacksonville State. So they have to be extremely careful with the play calling right here.
Remember, Louisiana Tech receives the second half kickoff. First down and 10, New Mexico State from their own 30. Awad's going to hand it off to McGowan. Nice moves to the outside, gets out of bounds. Good job there, stops the clock. Does he have a first? A little bit shy. Just before the 40-yard line. 2nd and inches here, 1:07 to go.
And I think this is where you take that shot, Mike. If you get man coverage on the outside, you've got to take that shot.
Now they give him a first down. Four receivers set, 2 to each side. Awad going to take off here and gets about 5 yards, brought down by Fields. Clock is running. They have their 2 timeouts remaining.
And that was a good job by Awad because they showed man coverage, but they dropped into a cover 2. And good penetration by Sifa Leota on that play.
Pass is caught McGowan, and that's right at midfield, and that's going to be a first down. So that's going to stop the clock. Kobe Fields on the tackle there for Louisiana Tech. Still 2 timeouts remaining. Clock now running here with 33 seconds and ticking. First half, whistle, stoppage, another flag is thrown. We have a false start here on New Mexico State.
You got to use your timeouts. You can't take them with you. You got the first down. Call the timeout, stop the clock, regroup. Because those guys are trying to get set with the clock running, you got an illegal procedure. So those are kind of the mental mistakes that you can't make, especially when you're trying to score with just a minute and 12 seconds left.
False start. Offense. Not all 11 players came set. New Mexico State has elected to take a timeout to avoid the 10-second subtraction. Should be a 30-second timeout.
See, that's the other thing you have to think about. I mean, you're working with that 10-second runoff, too. Now you have to use your timeout, and instead you got backed up 5 yards in the process.
So as opposed to using the timeout and conserving the 10 to 15 seconds you lost, you take a 5-yard penalty, lose 10 to 15 seconds, you still have to take that timeout.
Right. Yeah, not a good situation. Now they want to try to get to at least, you would think, the 35-yard line. Abraham Montano is their field goal kicker. He's 8 for 9 on the season with a long of 53. So that's getting to the 35 of Louisiana Tech. And right now they're at their own 45. So they're 20 yards away from that with 30 seconds and a timeout remaining.
And I think the crossing route, you want to get something outside to allow your receiver to possibly catch the football or running back catch the football and get out of bounds, something in the flat to your back coming out of the backfield, maybe even a wheel route.
Mike Washington to the right of Parker Awad here on a 1st down and 15. Awad, pressure, and now that might draw another flag, yes, because playing without his helmet was Sifa Leota. His helmet came off, and then he went after the quarterback, and under the rule, once your helmets come off, you got to stop playing, so now that's going to help New Mexico State here.
Personal foul. Defense number 42 continued to participate with his helmet off. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Yeah, that was blatant, and that is really going to help the Aggies here. I know it's tough, but
you applaud
got to shut it down.
But you got to follow the rules,
right?
And it's for his own safety. But he just plays the game at a different level and at a different pace. Even last week, he got kicked out of the game for a targeting penalty. But he just plays with so much aggression. You see it right there on that play, the anger and aggression that he had after he got his helmet and is running off the field. But you cannot get caught up in that. You have to think about the team and not yourself.
Absolutely. He's got to know the rule. All excited about making that tackle there, but instead costs his team the penalty yardage and puts New Mexico State at the Bulldog 42-yard line with 23 ticks to go. 1st and 10. Aggies have a timeout remaining. All right, what do you think here, Forrest? Okay, you got 23 seconds to go if you're New Mexico State with that timeout in your back pocket. What do you got?
If you throw the ball to the middle of the field, you've got that play, and you basically have got to use that timeout at that point to be safe.
Right.
So I'm thinking something to the outside where you hopefully can get out of bounds.
Yeah, because you could still have time for another play, even if you went in the middle of the field, but then you're out of timeouts, so you got to go sideline.
So you have to make a choice if you use that timeout. It's either going to have to be a touchdown or something where they definitely can get out of bounds.
After that slow start in the first quarter, we kind of picked things up here a little bit, and both teams' offenses have been moving the football down the field. I mean, just a lot going on right now here, trying to figure out what's happening with the 23 seconds to go. We get another timeout taken or what?
Well, this is great for New Mexico State right now, because if I'm the New Mexico State coaching
it's a review.
staff,
okay, sorry.
If I'm their coaching staff, I am calling 2 plays right now. You know, this is the play we're going to run, and this is the play after us. If this happens, this is where we're going to go. If this happens, this is where we're going to go. You've got to go through all the scenarios right now, because the thing that you cannot do is go into the half not even getting to attempt a field goal if you don't get a touchdown.
Right.
But you've got to try and get points here.
I think they're trying to figure out exactly where to place the football after the penalty that was called on Sifa Leota, who was playing without his helmet. So by rule, when your helmet comes off, you have to stop playing, and Leota went out on a tear to tackle the player, so he got flagged.
As a coach, how do you respond to that? You know, you want your guys to just continue to play hard and play through the whistle. And, you know, as a football player, you're not even thinking about that.
Right, yeah.
I know, I said earlier, you know, you've got to think about your team, but when you're in the moment, you're not thinking about that. All you're thinking about is making the play. And like I said, look at him. I love the aggression. I mean, how can you get mad at that? I mean, you're disappointed, but I can't get mad at that, because that's what I want to see on every play. He loves the game of football.
Yeah, I feel like they're pretty much right on here with a spot, right? If they're going to say 43-yard line and it's 15 yards, 7 from the 43 is midfield, and then 8 is the 42. So there's your 15 yards.
First down, New Mexico State. Clock is good.
And one of the things I noticed on that
40,
play,
okay.
well, one of the things I noticed when they kept running the replay is the offensive lineman grabbed his hair and tried to pull his hair to block.
Yeah, right.
I mean, by any means necessary, I can't let this guy get to my quarterback.
So they move it to the 40, and it's now 1st and 10 here for New Mexico State from the Louisiana Tech 40-yard line. 23 seconds to go. 1 timeout left for the Aggies. Awad taking a shot, going deep, and it is incomplete and nearly could have been picked off. Cordell David was the intended target, and there you see DeMarcus Griffin-Taylor, the cornerback who had the best chance at it, number 8 for the Bulldogs.
And that was the right place to go for Parker White. You've got a 5'9" Griffin-Taylor versus 6'3" Cordell David. So you've got, you know, a 6-inch height advantage right there. That's where you want to go. I thought he should have allowed him to get on top of the route a little bit more before he released that football.
Now 2nd down and 10. Pride goes in motion. Awad, pressure coming in, gets rid of it quickly on the slant, and the catch is made. Good job once again by Pride. Has it. A couple yards shy of the 1st down. Timeout.
And a good job by Awad to get the receiver the football where he can try and make a play on it, get down. You want to squeeze that football high and tight. You know they're trying to get it out, but you want to get down, put your offense in a position to either down it and get another play or use that timeout to go for the field goal attempt. That was a good job by AY. You get what the defense gives you, take what they give you, and, you know, try and get the field goal attempt.
They mark it a yard shy of the 1st down at the 31, and now they're going to bring out the field goal unit with 9 seconds to play in this 1st half.
And how big would this be for this New Mexico State offense to get some points on the board before the half?
It's going to be a 48-yard attempt officially here. Montano, who is 8 of 9 on the season. He's hit from 53. This one is up, and it is good. Count it for Montano. 9 of 10 on the season. Good from 48 with 4 seconds to play in the 1st half.
And Mike, that was great for the offense and great for the defense. Because you give them something to work towards, and you let your defense know we've got your back. We know we had you back out here after the 15-play drive, after 3 plays, and you gave up a score, but we got your back. You know, we're going to put some more points on the board before the half, and that'll get that defense going and revved up as they come out and start the second half.
Really nice job to use the clock and with their timeouts. Of course, they got held down by the 15-yard penalty by Louisiana Tech.
Kind of a payback for when they didn't use the timeout earlier and let that time go off.
And lost the yardage, exactly. Let's go to Tony Sanchez and New Mexico State. Trailing by 4 now. Nobody scored in the first quarter tonight. And then we have 24 points in the second quarter. 14-10. Montano with the kickoff. And that should pretty much take us to the half here. Bulldogs take it to a knee. And a 4-point lead. They're going to get the ball to start the second half. And there goes Wave the Wonder Dog again. Bringing the tee back to the sideline. Does a good job of that.
I love the name, Wave the Wonder Dog.
Love it. So Bullock, who had a very slow start to the first quarter, but certainly picked it up there, as both teams did in the second quarter. And we'll take it to a knee here to get us to halftime. End of the first half from Las Cruces, New Mexico on this Tuesday night. In Conference USA, the Bulldogs by 4. What'd you see there so far?
Well, what I saw from La Tech is an offense that finally got into a rhythm after the first quarter. I saw a quarterback that's probably getting a whole bunch of pats on the back step up and show why he was getting those pats in the second quarter. From New Mexico State, they established the run. They've got some big plays. They were able to drive down the field and put a score on the board, which I thought was extremely big after giving up those 14 points and falling behind. It's going to be paramount that that defense is able to get a stand when they come out. I don't think they need to allow Louisiana Tech to score. They can allow them to move the ball a little bit, but you hopefully for New Mexico State, they can get the ball back to their offense. So I think we're set up for a great second half.
Bulldogs with the receiving touchdown by Edwards, the rushing touchdown by Wiggins. New Mexico State got the 53-yard TD to Pride. There he was. And a 48-yard field goal at the end of the half by Montano. And we've reached the break. After the timeout, the halftime report from the studio on this Tuesday night.
Kevin Melendez. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Let's go! Let's go!
Brandon Nunez fired up. Comes in, first play of his FBS career, and he takes it 7 yards for the touchdown, Forrest.
But the running man, come on.
Yeah.
I love it. You got to love it. Then the B-boy pose at the end. Like, look at me. I love his energy.
Overall, the team's energy doing a really good job here tonight. This is not your typical 1-5 team the way they have played here so far. On the return was DeMarcus Griffin-Taylor. Picks up 15 yards in the return for Louisiana Tech. And now they find themselves trailing by 3 with 8:21 to go in this third quarter. How about that impressive opening second half drive by New Mexico State, Forrest? 11 plays, 88 yards. They took 5:50 off the clock, and they were balanced in doing it.
Well, it's all about believing in what you're doing. And I continue to go back to that drive before the half. They believed in themselves, able to put points on the board, able to go in with a positive attitude, and they came back out with the same attitude, getting the 3 and out on defense and getting the ball back to the offense and then getting that score on the board.
Pass goes out to the outside of Jimmy Holiday. He makes the catch, but he's going nowhere. It's no gain on the play to the 20. And, you know, we talked to Tony Sanchez earlier this week, and, again, you know, this is his first year as the head coach. We were a couple years prior. This is his alma mater. I always feel like it means something more when you go back and you coach in your alma mater, and he knows how times have changed a little bit. They're going to get this thing going here.
Blood, sweat, and tears. That's what it's all about, building a program in the day and age of the portal. It's very difficult, so it takes time. And I think he's, you know, building something here. You see right there the pressure. Nowhere to go with the football for Bullock. He didn't try and force it. but it's pressure. They're getting pressure on the quarterback in his face. Gabe Jones, a good job. You see right here, he's set up. There's nowhere for him to go with the football, and they continue to bring the pressure. The offensive line has to do a better job of maintaining their blocks, and that starts with sitting down in your stance, moving your feet, and getting the good punch. You've got a hand fight. You've got to play with violent hands at the point of attack.
Loss of 2, not bad. 4 sacks on the night here. 3rd down and 12. Bullock, pressure again. Hit as he throws, it's overthrown, incomplete. Looking for Finley, the tight end.
And quarterback pressure once again from Gabe Jones. They're getting pressure with 4 down linemen, dropping 7 into coverage, so there's nowhere for Bullock to go. When you've got 5 blocking 4, your quarterback should have all the time that he needs to get the ball down the field. But when they've got 7 in coverage, he needs extra time. So you've got to realize that with your blocking schemes and give him the time necessary to get the ball down the field. But also, if I'm Bullock, Mike, the next drive, if they continue to do that, when they turn their backs, you need to start to run the football a little bit.
Right. 4th 3 and out of the night. Raised punt and is muffed again by Jordan Smith this time, and Louisiana Tech is on it. They're going to recover, and Leota has it.
Mental mistakes will lose you football games.
Sifa Leota, and that is the 2nd time that New Mexico State has muffed a punt. Once by TJ Pride, this time by Jordan Smith, and it's the 2nd time that Louisiana Tech has come up with it.
And when you're fielding the punt, you can't think about anything else but squeezing that football.
So a great opportunity now for the Bulldogs at the New Mexico State 40-yard line. Handoff to Robertson for a couple. You know, and you're calling for a fair catch, right? I mean, you know, that's happened twice. I don't know. They're going to go back and be like,
yeah. Well, as a defense, you can't worry about it right now. You know, it's terrible that it happened again, but defensively, you've got to put your hard hat on and go back out there and try and get another stop. And you see what Louisiana Tech did on that play. They came with the jet sweep action one way, but ran the counter the opposite way with the pulling guard and pulling center. I think you'll see a little bit more of that, trying to get those backs on the edge.
At the bunch formation, the wideouts, and now Bullock drops a snap, and he's got to get back on top of it to cover it up. And that's going to be a loss in the play, 6-yard loss.
You see right there, Bullock just lost his grip on the football. He went with the ball fake early, but you've got to squeeze that football. Kind of Keystone Cops the last couple of plays.
There's Smith on the sideline. Sure lamenting the muffed punt, but can the defense hold here? It's a 3rd down and 13. Bullock on 3rd down tonight, 5 of 8. 4 receivers set with time to the sideline, incomplete. Broke it up. Wanted Wilkerson, and Hobbs was defending and made the play there. That's on 24 for New Mexico State.
And watch what Hobbs does. He waits till the ball gets there and then sticks his hand out there. He keeps his hands off the receiver. The official is right behind him. They allowed him to play through it. I like that, but a good job by Hobbs knocking that ball down.
No, you're right. It was really Wilkerson that time, the offensive guy, that had his hand on, Hobbs. And Hobbs turned around, looking at the football, and made a nice play. So now
I let it go, Mike. I don't try and field it. Just let the punt go.
Yeah, the defense held both times tonight after the muff punt. So Jordan Smith back there again for it, and this time he's going to let it go over his head. And it's going to be a touchback. There is a flag down, however, back at the 44-yard line.
And if the penalty is on New Mexico State, I punt it again. And I do something like a push punt to see if they're going to catch it.
Right. Make them, force them to come up and just catch the ball, which unfortunately has been an issue for them here tonight.
Illegal motion, offense number 26. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the touchback spot. First down, New Mexico State. Timeout.
But it was on Louisiana Tech, so the Aggies will have it. Still with a 3-point lead and 5:16 to play in the third. We'll be back.
Carson Beck to allow him to get the ball down the field vertically.
Seth McGowan here on the carry for New Mexico State. Clark on the tackle. Picks up about 4. Yeah, back to that game for a moment because, you know, Georgia has the one loss to Alabama by 7. You know, Texas has been blowing everybody out. They beat Michigan by 19. They just beat Oklahoma by 31. And they got the best defense in the country. They were giving up 6.3 points a game. It's nuts.
One of the things, though, when you look at the Georgia ball club, they rise to the occasion. When you look at that Alabama game, there was every reason in the world for them to just quit playing. They were down 28-0 in the first quarter.
Right.
But then the game started to slow down for Beck. He started to see his receivers. We talked about the turnovers. He has to eliminate those turnovers. But I think he's seen everything that you can see defensively in his 2 years as a starter. And also being on the sidelines, you know, as a non-starter, all the big games that Georgia's played in, you know, he's seen the game from a different level. So I don't know if the crowd noise will be as effective on him as it is to other players. When you play in the SEC, you play against in environments that are conducive to not being successful. So I don't know if that will affect him, but it'll be interesting. That's a very interesting match.
It's going to be a fun weekend. 3rd down and 5 here now for New Mexico State. And Awad taking a shot down the field, and here comes the flag. Yes, pretty much just running right into the receiver that time was Cedric Woods, and the intended receiver is Cordell David. Did not look back at the ball, ran right into him.
And all you have to do is turn around and try to locate the football, even if you run into the offensive player. As long as you're playing the football, the official is not going to make that call. But what happens is a lot of times
you
guys
feel like
know
you're
the ball's
chasing,
in the air.
you know,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh.
Well, they panic.
Yeah.
And he gets in panic
Fouls on
mode.
the play. Illegal formation. Offense, number 11, was not on the line of scrimmage. Pass interference. Defense, number 11. Those fouls offset. Repeat 3rd down.
Well, and how about that? So Cordell David, the intended receiver, kind of bails him out there, not being on the line of scrimmage in the illegal formation, and then he was interfered with by Woods. So we're going to replay 3rd and 5.
And as a receiver, you always have to check with the side official to make sure you're lined up correctly.
So that was big there. Now McGowan in the backfield. In motion goes Pride. 3rd and 5, New Mexico State. And the pass incomplete. He wanted Pride. There on coverage was Jacob Fields. He felt like he had a chance at it for a pick. And it's going to be 4th down, and New Mexico State's going to have to punt.
And to me, that's a questionable non-call right there. I thought he got there just a tad bit early. You saw the sideline for New Mexico State react when no flag was thrown on that play.
George Everly to punt, and Solo Lewis awaits it at his own 25-yard line. Fair catch, and he has it just across his own 31. 38-yard kick, and we'll take a timeout. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the third. Aggies hanging on to a 3-point lead. Bulldogs ball, though, when we come back.
And you see the reward of that commitment.
This is Gibbons on a 1st down carry for Louisiana Tech. As he goes down the sideline, gets pretty good yardage there on 1st down. Let's see where they mark it.
And Dylan Early has to make that tackle in the backfield. You can't allow Gibbons to get that foot set in the ground and get north and south. That's one of the things they've been doing a pretty good job with all evening, is not allowing those backs to plant that foot and get north and south. They allow Gibbons to plant his foot and get north and south on that play.
9.5 yards there on that play. You see the numbers by quarters. The second one the best so far with 146. We still have 3 minutes to go here in the third. Now it's a direct snap to Holiday, and he's going to be tripped up, and he's going to lose yardage there. Job by Sone Apiu on the tackle.
And if Apiu doesn't make that tackle, Mike, there was a convoy in front of him. They had the blocking that they wanted and they needed. It was as designed. Huge play for Aupio to make that play.
Yeah, they do this a ton in Louisiana Tech to Holiday, number 6 back there, because he's got 11 rushes coming into this game for 70 yards, including 3 touchdowns. Yes, he has the most rushing touchdowns for the Bulldogs this season. Louisiana Tech has just 1 first down on the 3 possessions this half. Can they get one here on 3rd down and 3? Bullock rolling, the catch is made, and it is a first, and he has the tight end on the grab that time with Hunter Tipton, and a gain of 5.
And you see what they did? They shifted the entire right side of the offensive line to the left, confused the defense, and all you need is that split second to get your receiver out in the open and deliver a strike. And that's what Tipton did. He was able to get in the open, give his quarterback a target, and they were able to get that first down. But it all started with that shift of the offensive line.
Yeah, good point. 82 and 84, having some good games tonight. Tipton and Finley, the tight ends for Louisiana Tech. Bullock now. Opposite side of the field, catch by Solo Lewis. And he's dragged out of bounds after a gain of around 6 or 7. We'll see what they mark it here. Tackle by Josiah Charles for New Mexico State.
And Bullock seems to be getting into that rhythm that he got into in the second quarter, where he's finding his open receivers. He knows where he wants to go with the football. He's looking at the defense and reading and taking what they give him.
He wants a timeout. And that'll be the first timeout taken by Louisiana Tech this half. With 1:15 to go in the third and faced with a 2nd down and 3 in New Mexico State territory. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here for Evan Bullock, the quarterback for Louisiana Tech. And 12 of 25 on the night for us, 118 yards and a touchdown. On the other side, Parker Awad, he's 11 of 20 for 155 yards and a touchdown. So
Parker's a little bit over 50%, and Bullock is right under 50%.
Again, though, Bullock was the 3rd string quarterback, okay, when this year started. Jack Turner was the starter. He started the season, got hurt in game 1, came back, and then against Tulsa in an overtime loss, he had played 2 drives, and they took him out, and they put in Evan Bullock. So another quarterback, too, Blake Baker, who's a redshirt freshman. He broke his collarbone in the Tulsa game, and he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So this is Bullock right now.
One of the things you have to look at with Bullock as well is, you know, the more he plays, the more game film other teams have to study to prepare for him. So those are some of the things that you have to look for as a young quarterback that didn't get a lot of playing time early.
He flips it to Fred Robertson, who's taken down by Tyler Martinez, and now there was a flag down as well, and the indication is on Louisiana Tech.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. Pete, 2nd down.
So they get Burt Hale that time, the left guard. Talk about the size that they have there on that left side, right? Burt Hale, senior, 6'5", 348. Forrest, and then Daniel Keys to the left of him.
I love it.
6'5", 344.
I love my big fellas. And he's got my old number, 79.
What were you in your playing days?
6'7", 340.
6'7", 340.
But I ran a 5 flat 40. I was a unique athlete.
Yes. 1 minute to go here in the third. 2nd down and 13. Bullock gets some pressure, and he slides and is taken down at the 40-yard line.
And good job by Jaden Robinson. But, you know, the tight end, you've got to do a better job. Finley, you've got to help your quarterback. You know, get in front of the defender. Don't just give him free reign. You've got to block and not allow them to get to your quarterback and get immediate pressure.
Hey, that's the 5th sack of the night for New Mexico State defense.
And you see right there, Finley got caught up looking inside. You've always got to be able to shift and drive and take that power step when the defender gets to the outside like that. 3rd and long, Bullock's pass, a sliding catch is made into New Mexico State territory by Edwards, and he's got the first. And DeMarcus Crosby, number 2, the safety, got caught looking in the backfield. Once again, you've got to stay on him. Don't look at the quarterback, follow the receiver. That split second allowed the receiver to break open. And now going deep to the end zone for Solo Lewis, and that's overthrown and incomplete.
How many times has Edwards come up with some big catches here tonight for Louisiana Tech? He's got 70 catches for us for 70 yards, including the touchdown. And that's going to take us to the end of the third quarter. Louisiana Tech down 3, fourth quarter from New Mexico State when we come back. Welcome back. There's True Edwards, 16 in white for Louisiana Tech with a big 19-yard reception to keep the drive alive for the Bulldogs as we enter the fourth quarter here tonight in this Conference USA matchup. Mike Corey with Forrest Connolly. Good to be with you here tonight from New Mexico State. It is a 2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs. And we're underway with the fourth. And the inside handoff goes to Gibbons. 6-yard gain.
And a good job by the offensive line, firing off flatbacks, getting movement at the point of attack.
Forrest, kind of all about whether the New Mexico State defense can continue to do what they've done here tonight. I mean, they've had 2 stands after they muffed punts, right? They've given the ball away, didn't give up anything. They've given up just 14 points and 180 yards allowed. They've forced 5 3-and-outs, and they've got 7 tackles for losses, including 5 sacks.
They've made key plays when they needed to make them.
Can they do it here on 3rd down? It's reverse. It's going to Marlon Jackson. And Jackson scoots by some tacklers and ends up getting the 1st down to the 30-yard line. He gains 5 yards, sticking with it. The sophomore wide receiver.
And one of the things I thought on this play, I thought he should have cut it up right there when he bounced it to the outside, but that's pure effort by Jackson, twisting, bending, doing whatever he needed to do to get to those sticks, and that's good recognition, knowing where he needed to get to.
Looked like DeMarcus Crosby was going to be able to bring him down there, number 2 for New Mexico State, but he got by him and he gets the 1st, so it's 1st down and 10 now, Louisiana Tech. Gibbons bumps it to the outside. Couple of hard-fought yards there. And on the tackle, Sone Alpiu, along with others.
And New Mexico State continues to do a good job getting penetration when Louisiana Tech tries to bounce it to the outside and run with that stretch zone play.
Fake to Gibbons, Bullock rolling, looking, and goes sideline. It's incomplete for Jackson. Really good defense again downfield by the Aggies.
But a good job by Jackson coming back to try and help his quarterback. That's what you want to do. If you see a quarterback scrambling and in distress, you want to come back and try and help him, give him a target to throw the football to.
3rd down and 8. Bulldogs are in field goal range here. 3rd and 8 with just over 2 minutes gone by here in the 4th. Pressure. Bullock throws, and the catch is made shy of the 1st by Finley. Just inside the 23-yard line, a gain of 5. DeMarcus Crosby brings him down. And now they bring out the field goal unit to try to tie it at 17.
You see Crosby walking with his hands on his hips because that's about the 4th or 5th time. Right before he gets there, the ball is arriving. He's just a tad bit late for making that big play.
Buck Buchanan, 4 of 5 in the season. You see it, long of 57. This is going to be a 40-yard attempt to tie this game at 17. The kick is on the way. Doesn't look pretty, but it's through. Count it. Tie ball game. 12-11 to play here tonight. It was a high snap, and a good job by Patrick Ray to get it down. Gabe Pugh with a snap, but Buck Buchanan makes it right, and we're tied at 17. There's Buck Buchanan, who just tied the game on a 40-yard field goal. Let's go back to it, Forrest.
Great job by the punter to grab that football, get the laces out, and you see Buchanan kind of stagger his kick. That's why you saw that knuckleball. He didn't get the usual run-up, but he was able to get enough on it to get it through the uprights to tie the score. So a great job by the holder and the kicker.
Yeah, that's the holder there, Patrick Ray, who's the punter as well, as you said it. He's from Australia. Buck Buchanan from Longview, Texas, and able to knock it down. And we are tied. There was also a 48-yarder made in this game by Abraham Montano for New Mexico State.
And it almost feels like, Mike, it's going to come down to the kickers.
Yeah.
With the way this game is going, it's been back and forth. Defensive struggle. But the kickers, I think, are going to be big in this fourth quarter.
New Mexico State, they don't look like a 1-5 team, do they?
No. And I think that's a product of Coach Sanchez continuing to coach these guys up. That's what he talked about, you know, eliminating those errors, eliminating those mistakes, and continuing to believe that they can be as good as they think they can.
First down and 10, they fake the reverse here, and here's McGowan, who runs to the sideline. Chased out by Cage, picks up 10. It's going to be a first down for New Mexico State. This team 0-3 in Conference USA. Louisiana Tech on the other side, 2-3, 1-1 in conference play. This is even more so important for them to try to keep pace in the conference standings. It's
still early. And when you think about New Mexico State, they're playing for bowl eligibility, whereas Louisiana Tech is playing for conference championship right now.
First down and 10. A-Wad's pass got deflected at the line of scrimmage by Jaden Burnett. It's the second pass deflection he's had this season. The defensive end getting his hand up there. And here's the standings in Conference USA. You got Liberty, Sam Houston, Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, all undefeated right now. And then Louisiana Tech there, FIU, 1-1. And so, yes, absolutely a lot of football left to be played here. A-Wad, keeper jumping over a tackler, and then he takes a huge hit across the 40-yard line by Jesse Evans. Picks up 7. Jumped over Pig Cage that time, number 31.
An excellent read by A-Wad. Everything was covered up. But you don't want to see your quarterback take a hit like that, but a good job by A-Wad getting what the defense gave him.
Third down. Now they're going to empty the backfield, and he'll send McGowan into the slot on the top of your screen. A-Wad. And it's knocked down again. This time it was Jacob Fields, and forces a 4th down and 3.
And I don't know if A-Wad should have left the pocket on that play. They had 4 pass rushers. They had them blocked up pretty well. I thought he could have stayed in the pocket. He escaped the pocket a tad bit too early on that play.
George Eberle to punt. With his twin brother Charlie Eberle to snap. Solo Lewis calls for the fair catch, and in traffic makes it at the 20-yard line, and a flag comes in. Yeah, see, he got hit. I think he had the room there to make that catch. And so they're discussing here. It was a fair catch called for by Lewis.
Coach Sanchez is not happy right now. He's letting the officials have an earful.
Interference with the opportunity to catch the kick. The player was blocked into the receiver. Timeout.
We will be back. 10 minutes and 41 seconds to play in this game tonight. This Conference USA matchup, we are tied at 17. Louisiana Tech ball. Wiggins starts in the backfield for Louisiana Tech on this drive after the punt. Wiggins. And shut down right at the line of scrimmage. No gain there. Last Louisiana Tech drive, 14 plays, 46 yards. They took 6 minutes and 29 seconds off the clock and ended with a 40-yard field goal.
An excellent play by Matt Lawson, number 90, getting penetration on that play, not allowing the pulling guard to get across the back of the formation and get up in the alley.
I mean, this has pretty much been the case all night from what you just saw in that last sequence. They will give him about a yard here. Louisiana Tech needs to get this running game going. 29 carries, 44 yards, averaging just 1.5 yards a rush for us. The long rush of the game has been from 13 yards. A little bit of movement on the line. They don't have any flags down. The pass is caught by Wiggins in the flat. He's shoved out of bounds after a short gain of another yard, and that's it.
Well, talking about rushing the football, New Mexico State contrarily has 117 yards rushing on 27 carries, averaging about 4.3 yards per carry. So they're getting accomplished what they need to as far as running the ball.
Right.
I would have loved to have seen them run it a bit more, but they're getting the job done, and they've been very effective.
Can the Aggies get another big stand here on third down? Bullock going deep down the sideline. It is caught. Oh, what a catch by Wilkerson.
And Tatum Barnes, you've got to turn around and locate the football. I don't understand why you go man coverage on the outside when you've got them backed up behind the sticks. You know they're going to be careful because they were deep in their own territory. But you've got to turn around to locate the football. Tatum Barnes, you cannot continue to run. Turn around, try and make a play.
32 yards on that play to the wideout Jay Wilkerson. And now it's first down and 10 for Louisiana Tech from the New Mexico State 46. And it's back to Wiggins. We'll give him another yard on that carry. And Beatles on the tackle.
And you know, Mike, we're going to look. I wonder if we're going to look back at that play
Flag down
that just happened, that third down conversion, and see and say that was the turning point that got them to win, because that extended this drive. You're going to have a lot more time come off the clock, whether they get a score or not. You're thinking they're possibly going to score. If they do score,
after the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 1, his first of the game, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, you may be right, Forrest. We're going to have to wait and see. And then Josiah Charles just helps him out with the personal foul. Let's take a look at it here. Oh, yeah, right there. Just kind of rips Wilkerson down to the ground, and probably a little bit of frustration after he made that catch. And there's the flag.
Well, I don't mind the aggressive play, but I think when the official got involved, that's when you've got to step out, step away, and move on.
So now it's first and 10 for the 31-yard line. And it's Robertson who's in now. And he takes the carry for a couple of yards.
And, Mike, because of that penalty, now they're in field goal range.
Right.
So you continue to look at the small intangibles, the things that don't seem like a lot. But, you've got to have a steady head when you're playing this game.
Yeah, and if you're the Aggies, you don't want to feel like you're an unbelievable night defensively is going to go for naught, right? Because, I mean, they played really good defense tonight.
I don't think you can ask them to do much better than they've done this afternoon.
Well, we shall see. We're halfway through the fourth quarter here. Second down. Back to Robertson, and spins inside of the 25, knocked down to 24. It's going to set up a 3rd and 3 after a 5-yard gain.
And if I'm Louisiana Tech, I'm taking my time. A lot of play clock to run down.
Going to change up the personnel here. Gibbons comes back in, 25 in the backfield.
And watch for Gibbons to be able to get to the edge. That's something he's been able to do, use his speed.
Hunter Tipton, the tight end, is in the eye with the blocking. He'll lead block here, and it's going to be Gibbons who's going to be tripped up and not have the first. Dylan Early got in there, number 11 for New Mexico State.
Excellent play by Early, because if he doesn't trip Gibbons up, there's no one else to the outside. Watch, everybody squeezes down. If Gibbons is able to bounce to the outside, he has the speed to get down the field and get that first down.
All right, heads up here. Jack Turner is now in, who was originally the starting quarterback to begin the season for Louisiana Tech. So he's in number 10. They're going for it on 4th down and 2. In motion, Holiday, they give it to him, and he gets inside the 20-yard line. He has the first. And that's Jimmy Holiday. They've done that a lot this season. He gets 3 yards. The drive continues.
Gutsy play call. You see the jet sweep. Good lead block on the outside by Hunter Tipton. He didn't get a holding penalty. A lot of times you see guys get a holding penalty like that. He was able to not hold, do exactly what he needed to do. Just get in the way. You don't have to have a knockout block all the time.
And now they bring Bullock back in for Louisiana Tech.
And what this does, if they do kick a field goal, it continues to run the clock. Gutsy play call on 4th down to go for it.
Gibbons. Again, a lot of hard hitting here as they bring him down at the 15-yard line. He's going to gain 5 in the play. Do you think they brought in Turner just to kind of like let the defense say, like, oh, what's he doing in, you know? And then they give it to Holiday, who's done that a lot. He picks up the first down. Oh, why would they do that?
Well, what it does, it makes you think as a defense what they possibly could do. Why are they bringing him in? What, you know, intangible does he bring to the offense?
Tyler Martinez is down for New Mexico State. Yeah, so Turner got hurt.
And Turner's a big quarterback, too, at 6'5", 230 pounds. So you're thinking maybe they've got him in to run the quarterback sneak, quarterback draw.
Right.
So there's so much that a defense has to think about when he comes into the ball game. Even though they ran the same type of play they run with Evan Bullock in the game, because you've got a different quarterback in, you have to think about the possibilities of other things that they can do. And that split second allows for the back to get the positive yards that he needs to get the first down.
And we were told he was available here tonight, and he was just in the backup role, but comes in there, and that's good to see for Martinez. A little bit of help coming off the field.
Absolutely, but he's able to put weight on it.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see right there.
Well, you had said about Louisiana Tech, Forrest, there's no hurry here, but there is a lot of time still remaining, 5:29 to go. This drive started on their own 20-yard line with 10:41 left in the 4th quarter.
But this is when you lean on those big linemen. You know, when you look at the defensive line, they average for New Mexico State 6'2", 273 pounds. So you've got a 56-pound weight advantage across the board and a 2-inch height advantage. So they've got longer arms on those offensive linemen. The thing you want to continue to see right now is challenge those big fellas to play with flat backs and fire off the football.
Edwards and Wilkerson, the wide receivers, to the top of your screen. Abdul Fattah Ibrahim is at the bottom. Gibbons in the backfield on a 2nd and 5 for Louisiana Tech. Play fake, Bullock. It goes to the end zone, and it's Edwards. He's got it. Touchdown. Bulldogs take the lead on a 2nd touchdown catch of the night for True Edwards. This one of 15 yards.
And True Edwards has been a true problem all night long. He's big, he's lean, he finds a way to get open, he uses his body extremely well, and he gives his quarterback a huge target. 8 catches, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great afternoon, great evening for True Edwards. He's truly been the star for this offense this evening.
Yes, he has. Extra point here from Buck Buchanan is good. And Louisiana Tech has taken a 7-point lead with 4 minutes and 54 seconds to go. Bullock, he's done it twice tonight. To Edwards, this one gives them the lead. We'll be back to New Mexico after this.
If you watch this play, the one thing that Evan Bullock did a good job of is the ball fake. This was an RPO, and he saw the coverage that he wanted to see on the outside with True Edwards. And you see the jab step and the head toss to the outside. The defender was caught off guard. He fell for it, Dylan Early, and True Edwards was wide open. And once again, he is a true issue for defensive backs with that size and that ability.
And a good breakdown there, Forrest. You called it, and you're absolutely right as this kick goes out of the back of the end zone. And yeah, True Edwards on the season now with 31 catches, 420 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He came in with 2 touchdowns, and he's got 2 here tonight. His first career multi-touchdown game, and that was big.
Well, he's got elite size, Mike. You know, you think about 6'3", 200 pounds, and he uses his body like a basketball player. He's able to box out defenders. He's got good footwork on the outside, and he's made himself, like I said, a big target all night for Bullock.
And the last two Louisiana Tech drives have taken up a total of 12 minutes and 16 seconds, and they've capitalized. And now here's Brandon Nunez, who's back in, right? We had him in earlier, who ran in for the touchdown in his first career FBS game. Came from Division III Fullerton College. He's out of Phoenix, Arizona. And now he's in here on a very crucial drive with 4.5 to go in this game, and his team down 7.
Well, I think his running ability, helps the offense because the defense has to account for him.
Now a nice little play fake, and he throws it out. The pass is dropped by Hunter Talley,
Pass is incomplete.
one of the tight ends. And it's going to be 3rd and 8, just like that.
So one of two things happened on that play. Either Hunter Talley, tried to make a play without the football, or he heard footsteps. But there's no reason why he should not have squeezed that football.
All right, what are you thinking here, Forrest? A crucial 3rd down and 8, and you're on 27.
I think right now, with the way the Louisiana Tech offense has been playing, you've got to get 4 or 5 yards because this is 4th-down territory. Because I don't know if they get the ball back if they have to punt it.
Better job on 3rd down tonight than this season, 50%. This is a big one, though. They need it. 3rd and 8. Nunez from the shotgun. Steps up, throws it over the middle. The catch is made, and it's a 1st down. Nice job there by Cordell David. 10 yards.
You see right there, they rushed 3. They dropped 8 back into coverage. But when you play that zone, there are holes in the zone if you don't get to the quarterback quickly.
We're right back at it. Here is McGowan on the carry, and keeping the legs moving, gets all the way across the 45 and a yard shy of the 1st down. He gains 9.
And a good job by Jesse Evans making the tackle on that play. And I need to see a little bit more urgency from New Mexico State. You've got 3 minutes and 37 seconds left. You've got, 2 timeouts, but you need to be a little bit more urgent with what you're doing offensively.
Second and a yard. Pass and caught right at midfield for the 1st down, and then laying the stick was Woods on the 5-yard gain that time. The catch made by TJ Pride, excuse me.
And that's one of those catches where you come back to the huddle and you tell the quarterback, hey, man, don't throw that pass again.
Yeah, right.
You set me up for failure right there. Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, though, about the sense of urgency, though. They need the touchdown, obviously, here, and we're under 3 minutes to go. They do have the 2 timeouts remaining. You want to get the play right. Here's Nunez from the shotgun. Handoff goes to Mike Washington, and he's going to be taken down at the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 5. Clock continues to run here in the 4th.
And if I'm New Mexico State right now, I want to get one more play before the 2-minute timeout.
Well, they will. Play clock is exactly in line with when the 2-minute timeout would be, so they'll have to snap it. Tony Sanchez on the sideline. 2nd and 5 here for the Aggies. Nunez with a fake, going deep, and in trouble, and it's going to be incomplete, nearly picked off by Jacob Fields. Looking again for TJ Pride.
Well, a good job by Nunez stepping up in the pocket right here, and Fields almost had it, but Pride, it went through his hands. I think because Fields almost had the interception, it affected Pride's ability to see the football at the end, but that's a ball he's got to catch.
Well, now you're going to have another play here before the 2-minute timeout, and it's a 3rd down and 5. You're in 4-down territory, and now Nunez passes up in the middle. It's caught. He's got Hunter Talley, and the tight end takes it inside the 30. Tackled down for a gain of 19 yards by Kobe Fields. We've reached the 2-minute timeout, and New Mexico State is driving. They have it at the Louisiana Tech 26-yard line. 1st and 10 at the Tech 26-yard line. Impressive answer so far to that touchdown drive from the Bulldogs. This is the 9th play of the drive coming up. Nunez in at quarterback. Play fake goes for the middle. The pass is low and incomplete, but a flag is thrown. Multiple flags coming in on the play.
I think every official threw their flag on that play.
Pig Cage, 31 there, putting a shot on the intended receiver who is still down. Trying to see who it was there. Well, here's the call first.
Personal foul, targeting, defense number 31. The play is under review.
So that's Pig Cage, the senior defensive back. And it was P.J. Johnson was the intended target there. It
looks like he launched into a defenseless player. I mean, it looks like he's leading with his shoulder. And it's not a huge launch. This is a tough call for the officials right here. But it's great to see the receiver able to get up and run off the field.
So Johnson is up, and he has come off.
The question is it forcible? Well, the question I think, Mike, is it forcible contact to
right,
the
head or neck area, exactly.
It looks like a football play to me. It's just boom, boom, because he led with the shoulder. There's no ill intent on that play. It's just a tough football play.
Well, if
is this a penalty they rescind?
A ruling on the field is targeted. And there's Johnson. So if it stands.
Well, I think the fact that it's taking this long because it's questionable. It's a tough one.
Yeah, if it does stand, Pig Cage is going to be disqualified for the rest of this game and will miss the first half of the next game for Louisiana Tech. It's going to put New Mexico State in position here with a first down, under 2 minutes to go. Needed, of course, a touchdown to tie this game. 2 timeouts for each team. There's a lot of time left here. And how about bringing in Brandon Nunez in the most important drive of the game?
Well, what was shocking to me is Louisiana Tech haven't brought any blitz packages. You've got a new quarterback that hadn't played all game. You know, you're only rushing 3, dropping 7 back in the coverage, 8 in the coverage. To me, you need to bring a full blitz package and make him think. Make him look at the pre-snap. Make him try and get pre-snap reads and try and figure out what you're doing. Be exotic with what you're doing defensively.
Now remember, with the rules, of course, and this is not the case here, you can never use the crown of your helmet on any player, defenseless or not, you know, with an indicator and a launch. I don't think it was the crown, obviously. It's more about, was it forcible contact to the head or neck area with an indicator there to kind of launch and lean in. He is a defenseless player, doesn't have the ball, and that's why they called targeting.
I think that's why the personal foul will probably stand, because he's defenseless. But right now they're trying to determine it. I personally don't think it's targeting. I think he led with the shoulder. But once again, you've got to protect the players. But I think with how long it's taking them to make this decision, it's because it's such a boom, boom play.
We've had 3 lead changes tonight. We've also had 2 ties. Neither team has led by more than 7 points all game here. And this is a 1-5 New Mexico State team that has been really balling out here tonight, especially on the defensive end. Here comes the call.
Review. The ruling on the field of targeting is confirmed. Number 31 has been disqualified. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Yeah, it was contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless player for us. I mean, that's what they called. That's what they looked at. And
I don't think it was malicious. I think it was just a hit play.
Unfortunately, intent has nothing to do with it, right? I mean, if it happens, it's called. You know, and that's the thing. That's what sometimes people say. Well, I didn't mean.
You got to protect the players.
Yeah, it's not about that. So Pig Cage, unfortunately, out for the rest of this game. Who's made some really big plays tonight for Louisiana Tech defense, and he's going to miss the first half of the next game. back to action. New Mexico State has been in the red zone 14 times. Not a lot, but their percentage is really good. So can they score it here? And here goes Nunez. And he was able to score earlier on a 7-yard touchdown run. Here, he sets him up with 1st and goal.
And that's the same play that Nunez ran for the touchdown earlier in the game. And when you look at it, they've got those 3 running backs in. So what that makes the defense do is try and figure out what's going on. Is he handing the ball to one of those guys? So this is where the defense has to try and outsmart and locate the football.
The line to gain was made. The play is under review.
All right, so now they're going to check and see if this was a 1st down run by Nunez, which would set him up with 1st and goal. Let's take a look at it again. Minute 1:32 on the clock.
You see the 3 backs. So everybody has to flow. All 3 are rolling to the right, so everybody flows. The linebackers flow to him. And Nunez does a good job of reading those defenders, pulling the ball out the belly, and keeping the ball close to his body, high and tight. You see the defenders trying to rip the ball out, Blake Thompson, but Nunez does a good job of squeezing that football. You see all the eyes going with the backs. And that allows Nunez to get past number 2, Evans, because Evans has to play those backs. Nunez kept the ball in the belly of the back long enough for Evans to get far enough outside for him to cut it up.
All right, so see the elbow going down there. He needed to get to the 3-yard line. They marked it at the 3, and remember, they called it a 1st down on the field. So they have enough evidence here where they felt like, all right, his elbow was down. Was the ball not yet at the 3-yard line? If they feel like it's enough, they can reverse it here for us again. Another close call here on this one. Again, the call was 1st down, 3-yard line. It looks potentially like the ball's at the 4 when that elbow is down. So
and this is important.
Back him up here.
Well, this is important because if they don't rule that a 1st down and they go to 2nd down, then anything can happen. You can get an offsides penalty,
right,
or holding. I mean, things can happen. So that's why it's so important right now to try and continue to get 1st downs and not put yourselves in a position where something bad can happen. And regardless of the outcome of this game, I think Coach Sanchez and his coaching staff can be extremely proud of the way this team has come out and responded after that tough loss last week, that blowout loss, to come back and play a tough ball game against a tough Louisiana Tech ball club that came in on a high with the way that they played last week.
Well, and Sonny Cumbie's team is going to try to, put back-to-back wins together, coming off a really big win against Middle Tennessee, and they like what they've seen out of their quarterback and Evan Bullock, and they want to build off of that, and of course stay in the Conference USA race with a 1-1 mark in conference play. There's 4 teams ahead of them that are undefeated still: Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky, Sam Houston, and Liberty. But they're only a game back, so that's how big and important this game is for Louisiana Tech.
And I know it's a lot more football left to play, but you don't want to go down 2 games in the conference.
Here we go.
After video review, the runner's elbow was down with the ball at the 4-yard line, short of the line to gain. New Mexico State has elected to call a timeout to avoid the 10-second subtraction.
Tony's like, I don't want a timeout. Yeah, and here's the thing. So they didn't have enough evidence to move it back to the 4 where his elbow went down. It's going to be 2nd down and a yard.
And how important is 10 seconds right now?
Right.
When you're on the 3-yard line.
But also your timeout, too. Yeah. So, I mean, he's like, I don't want to use a timeout. What do they say about end of games and, how long the last 2 minutes of the game takes, right? I mean, how much stuff have we already had here for the late stages of this game? And
we've had a targeting.
Yeah.
We've had a big run by the quarterback. We've had some 3rd down conversions.
And I know, fans at home and you're thinking, hey, come on, what's the deal? You have to view. Listen, it's a tough job if you're the officials. You got to get the play right. You got to know exactly where the ball is. You got to get the time right. You got to get people set. I know this is taking a little bit longer here, but it's obviously a very important part of the game. And then they're going to get this thing set up at the 4-yard line with a 2nd down and 1 now for New Mexico State. And the clock is at 1:52. That's what it says. I thought it was 1:32, but that's what we got. Nunez keeps it again, looking for the end zone. Is he there? He's marked shy. No signal yet. It's going to be a 1st down.
I thought he got there.
Now a signal touchdown. Brandon Nunez with his 2nd rushing touchdown tonight.
"6'5", 225 pounds, and he continued to roll over bodies to get to the end zone. See, he's not down. He's on a body. You see him rolling right there? Good job by Nunez using his large frame on that drive to convert critical plays and get the ball down the field. And that play, they have not been able to stop all night. When they bring those 3 backs in, the wishbone look, the defense kind of gets confused, and then they get all of them going in the same direction, which pulls the safeties and linebackers, and it allows Nunez to have that alley to run up the field. Look at all the backs. Look at everybody flowing with the backs. And you see a good job by the offensive guard,
B.J. Tolo.
And A.J. Vayapulu, number 51, to cover up. Watch 51 cover up that linebacker. Right there. Excuse me, 61. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
B.J. Tolo.
Yeah, he pulls over there. Yeah,
yes.
Good call. No, you're right, Forrest. Now they're obviously taking a look at this to make sure that he was in.
And the thing about the linebackers and the safeties flowing with those backs, he hadn't given it to any of those guys all evening. So you've got to play the numbers and say, okay, he's been successful. We haven't stopped him running this ball with that play. Let's go at him.
Let me just say something a moment ago while the clock was back at 1:52. Louisiana Tech had called a timeout. So that's how we had that situation. So they're down to 1 timeout. New Mexico State has 2. 1:41 is on the clock. The touchdown's being reviewed. Looked like he did get in. And remember, the nose of the football just has to touch that white line, invisible line that goes from the field all the way up to the sky and infinity. If you just cross that white line, and it looked like he did with the nose of the football, it's a touchdown.
And how smart was that of Louisiana Tech to take that time out to conserve time?
Right.
Knowing that it was very likely
if they get it, we need time to get back. Right.
And they only need to get the ball to about the 35-yard line for their kicker to have a chance.
Touchdown, New Mexico State.
You have to wonder, if you're New Mexico State, did you want that touchdown to stand? Run a little bit more time off the clock, because they're not stopping Nunez. They haven't stopped him yet.
Yeah.
You know, you take the chance of not scoring, but, you know, it's just a whole lot that can happen.
I hear what you're saying, but the way that New Mexico State's defense has played here tonight, you know, you feel like you got to trust that. You know, you want to put the ball in the end zone, you got to tie this game. And
yes, sir.
Now they're an extra point away from doing that. Abraham Montano, here it is to make it 24-all with 1:41 to go, and it is good. What a game here tonight.
And they had to scratch and claw to beat South Carolina. And you know, Milroe, to me, is the X factor in that ball game. He has to run the football effectively. For Tennessee, you know, their quarterback, Nico Amalea, he has to do a better job. Last week, 17 of 29 passing, no touchdowns. He's got to get the ball in the end zone for them to beat that Alabama ball.
And they had a tight win last week as well, too, 23-17. So.
And that was a rivalry game, that Florida game. That's always going to be tough. But when you look at what they've been doing offensive-wise and coming off that loss that they had to Arkansas, you would have thought being at home against that opponent, they would have done a lot better offensively.
Yep. Third tie tonight, and also 3 lead changes as well. So Louisiana Tech with the ball 1:48 on the clock and one timeout to work with here for us, beginning from the 25. 1st and 10.
And right now, your objective is to get the ball down the field. You can't get it all at once. That would be ideal. But what you're looking for is field goal range.
Find number 16, right? True Edwards over the top of the screen in between the two receivers. The handoff, though, and it goes to Wiggins, and he breaks free and gets up to the 35 for a 10-yard gain and a 1st down. Clock is now running, 1:35 to go in the game. One timeout left, Louisiana Tech. Bullock. Quick fake to pass is incomplete. Wow. Looking for Finley and
Quincy Davis.
Yeah, jumping it.
Excellent defensive play to jump in front of that ball. Finley, I thought Finley thought what we thought, that was a pick. He wasn't expecting the ball to get to him, and it got on him so fast. But Quincy Davis did a good job of reading the quarterback size.
Minute 28 to go now.
Bullock has to be extremely careful with the football right now.
Bullock, pressure, look out! He's taken down at the 30-yard line by Cale Edwards.
And all of this starts with the offensive guard, number 66, Jamarion Kennedy. Big fella, you got to sit down in your stance. You can't let him just run over you like that, big fella. You let him run over you, then you let him make the sack. You got to sit down in your stance. You got to play with violent hands, and you got to power step. You just can't let him run you over.
And how the tide is turned once again. Now New Mexico State calls a timeout to preserve clock with a 3rd down and 15 situation for Louisiana Tech at their own 30-yard line.
And that stems from not having a good base. I don't care how big you are, how strong you are, you've got to have a wide base. You've got to sit down in your stance, sit in your hips. You got to play with violent hands. You got to know these defensive ends and linebackers are coming full speed. And when you get your feet together, you will get pushed back. You will get knocked down. You will get ran over.
What's going to happen here? You saw some good numbers there for Bullock on 3rd down tonight for Louisiana Tech. But it's 3rd and 15. New Mexico State defensively, 8 tackles for loss, including 6 sacks. Minute 21 to go. Bullock looking, right side, catch is made, it's Edwards. How many big plays is he going to make tonight? 1st down, Louisiana Tech. Got in front of Taden Barnes, and True Edwards is true once again.
And the true problem has presented himself. He continues to make himself a big target. I love the way that Bullock looked, went through his progressions, and then he knew where he wanted to go with the football.
And right back over to Jimmy Holiday now to catch on the sideline for Louisiana Tech. Edwards is over 100 yards receiving. Holiday's done a nice job in the running and receiving game tonight. Now 1:03 is on the clock.
And you know what, Mike? A lot of fans will say, well, that's just a short pass. That's not enough. Right now, all Louisiana Tech is thinking about field goal range. Field goal range. A touchdown would be great, but we've got to at least get in the field goal range.
Buck Buchanan on the season. He's hit from 57 yards. That's his long on the campaign. 1:03 to go. 2nd and 4. Each team with a timeout remaining still. Bullock. And he hands off here for Wiggins, who goes to the outside, still on his feet, down the sideline, pushed out of bounds. And O'Meary Wiggins with a big run and a 1st down for the Bulldogs.
And number 11, Dylan Early, you've got to make this tackle. You see Wiggins bounce it out to the outside. Right there, you've got to make that tackle early. You can't let him get up the field.
That's a 25-yard run, Forrest, and an extra effort. And that missed tackle, as you said, now has certainly put them in field goal range. The ball's at the 26.
10 yards after contact.
44-yard field goal from here. Again. It goes to Gibbons this time. Pushing the pile forward all the way down to the 15-yard line. It's a gain of 11. And the clock will stop to move the chain with 45 seconds remaining.
And if I'm Louisiana Tech, I'm continuing to give the ball to Gibbons. I am not doing anything different.
And that's exactly what they do. And he goes right up the middle, going to use up some clock here as Davis makes the tackle. And they're putting themselves in position to run this thing down and kick a game-winning field goal.
And going back to that timeout that they called, when New Mexico State was on the goal line, that was one of the smartest plays by their coaching staff to take that timeout and preserve time to give their offense the necessary time they needed to get the ball down the field.
And the New Mexico State defense just kind of has to be kicking themselves a little bit where there was a 3rd down and 15 and they used their timeout to say, okay, good. All we got to do is stop them here on a 3rd and 15. We're going to get this thing back. No, Louisiana Tech got that 1st down.
And with the score tied, I don't know if I used that timeout because they were under stress and duress on the Louisiana Tech sideline. They weren't going to use their final timeout at that time.
I'm not sure why Louisiana Tech was going to take their final timeout here, because you want to save that in case you have an issue or a bad snap or a situation here late. There's 30 seconds to go, and now you'd have to run your field goal team out onto the field and
well, you got it.
Well, you could spike it, I guess, time it just right. I don't know what they're.
Or throw it. If you're throwing it, it's got to be to the end zone. But do you take the chance and throw the football right now when you're this close for a field goal attempt?
I'm not sure that's necessary. 2nd down and 7 here. Let's see. Here's Bullock. He's from the shotgun. He's got Wiggins to his left. The handoff to Wiggins. Inside of the 10. Now you got to run it up there and spike it.
There's just no sense of urgency. I get it. You're going to spike it, but you still need to have some sense of urgency here.
Coach Cumbie saying just wait. We want to get this thing down probably to, around 3 seconds here and spike this ball. Exactly what they're going to do. Yep. 3 seconds on the clock. 4th down. Field goal unit comes on. Buck Buchanan.
And I don't want to jinx them, but so far so good. Excellent 2-minute drill. The way that they got the ball down the field in the play calling that they used the time correctly. Smart play calling. And your big play people made plays for you when you needed them to. To the field goal kicker now. Make this kick.
And a timeout taken by New Mexico State. They're going to use their final timeout here. I remember the last time they had a high snap and the field goal was actually a lot longer. I think it was a 40-yarder. Yeah, see it?
Well, he did so many.
It was a 40-yard attempt. Great job by Ray to get it down.
Well, so many good things he did on that play. First, he got the ball down. Then he got the laces out. And it ended up being a knuckleball because the kicker had to slow down and stutter step because he saw what was going on. But he didn't panic.
All right, so officially earlier, they called it a 41-yard field goal made by Buchanan. Now we're at a 27-yard attempt for the win for Louisiana Tech. Gabe Pugh to snap, Patrick Ray to hold, and Buck Buchanan for the 27-yarder for the win for Louisiana Tech, and it's going to be blocked. And they weren't able to get the snap down. It's blocked. And we are going to overtime. Wow.
You gotta believe, Mike. You gotta believe.
I was watching it right there on the hold, and they just weren't able to execute it for us.
And we talked about it before the kick. It was an issue earlier, and they were able to get the ball down, get the laces out, and get the field goal. They could not do it this time.
Unbelievable here. What a finish to regulation. Malaki Tiase with the block. Over offense from the 25-yard line. Parker Awad, the quarterback from the shotgun. Check it, it's Nunez, and he's going to hand off, though, here to Seth McGowan. So Nunez, who came in on that last drive for us that led them down the field to get the game-tying touchdown, who has 2 touchdowns tonight himself, back in there here for the overtime period.
Well, he makes their offense multiple with his ability to run the football. They have to pay attention to the possibility of him keeping the football and running that dive play. So that affects the linebackers inside, and it puts them in a position to have to play kind of a spy.
It's brought a lot of energy to this group as well here too. And now here it is on the run and gets to the 20 and getting pushed forward for a few more extra yards.
Number 10, Brandon Nunez.
And Nunez, his helmet comes off as well. He picks up 6. Clark on the tackle. He's going to have to come out for at least one play.
And how huge is that? With his ability to run the football, if I'm New Mexico State, I'm taking the time out to get him back in the football game.
Well, it's crucial. It's 3rd and 2. I wouldn't disagree with you. Parker Awad has come in though now. They got to pick this thing up here. 3rd and 2. Handoff McGowan. He's decked by Kobe Fields. Heads up.
And there was no fear that the quarterback was going to pull the ball out of his belly, so they went straight for the back. And you see Fields, he's able to get penetration. He comes inside Kanan Yarrow. The left guard, A.J. Vaipulu, did not block him. He went unblocked. Nobody touched him, and Fields made one of the biggest plays of the evening. And it goes back to what I talked about, pulling Nunez, or Nunez having to come out. I think you used that timeout to get Nunez back in the game.
And now the field goal try. 37-yarder is good by Abraham Montano. He just snuck it inside of the right upright and puts New Mexico State on top 27-24. So they get the 3 points out of it. I mean, that was a crazy situation. I mean, I think you're right for us.
It was no guessing for the defense.
Yeah.
You know, they're going straight to the back. They know it's very unlikely Parker Watt's going to throw the football. He hadn't been in the game in over a quarter.
Right.
So he's cold. So he's not going to throw the football. You don't have your running quarterback in. Even if they would have had that formation with those 3 backs in there, you know, that changes what the defense is going to be comfortable doing.
You're all over it. I like what you had to say there. And at least New Mexico State, if you're them, they pick up the field goal. And now here comes Evan Bullock and company, and he's going to take a shot. He's going end zone. Wilkerson, and it's overthrown, incomplete. Defending was Keontae Clinton.
And, you know, Mike, I don't know if I like that play because now you've got 2nd down. You're a field goal kicker. We've had some issues with your field goals. The first one, they were able to get the ball down. The second one, it was a bad snap again, and it got blocked. Now it's almost like you're saying, okay, we're okay. We'll go with the field goal attempt if we don't get it.
Fans making a lot of noise here tonight from Aggie Memorial Stadium. The ones that have showed out in favor of New Mexico State. Handoff. Wiggins cuts it back through and gets inside the 20-yard line to the 19.
There you go.
Tackled by Fahina, 6 yards, and now 3rd down and 4.
You use that big offensive line that you got. Allow those big fellas to fire off the football. When you've got an average of 6'4", 330 pounds across the board, you got to lean on those big fellas.
Here we go, 3rd and 4, overtime. Louisiana Tech, after New Mexico State got the field goal, it is up by 3. Bullock takes, looking, end zone, incomplete. He had a hand on it. It was True Edwards. A little bit past his outstretched arms, and now.
And Bullock had time. You don't have to rush it. Take your time. Your right tackle, Hayden Chrisman, did a good job of picking up that blitz. You had time.
And now they set up for the tying field goal here. Just missed from 27 at the end of regulation. This is going to be a 37-yard attempt to tie it here in overtime.
Watch the snap.
It all looks clean this time, but the kick is good. He nails it. Just got it inside the left upright. They haven't looked all that pretty for us, but it doesn't matter. It's good. And we're going to a double overtime, tied at 27.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America.
What a fun one here tonight. 27 all. Louisiana Tech and New Mexico State to double overtime we go.
And, you know, it's terrible that somebody's going to have to go home, you know, with the loss today, the way both of these teams have played. They've played their hearts out. They've given everything. And my hat's off to both programs for giving us a great show so far tonight.
No doubt. I mean, it has been nip and tuck the entire way. Got off to a very slow start, right? Nothing was going on the first quarter. Then all of a sudden we got 24 points in the second quarter combined.
Well, you got to think, too, the psyche of these players. It's Tuesday night.
Right.
So, you know, their mindset is probably all off right now.
Yeah, both teams played, you know, last week, Wednesday, Thursday. You know,
but it's still a short week. You know?
It's a very short week. Quick turnaround time. All right, overtime. You get the touchdown, you're going to have to go for 2. So now let's see what happens here. From 25, it's Louisiana Tech that will have the ball first to begin the second overtime. And off to Wiggins. Davis on the tackle. Picks up 3 yards. And then that's kind of more like, I think, what you were talking about in the previous situation, right, Forrest? Hey, get a couple of yards here. Let's try to eke out a first down and, you know, not put ourselves in a long field goal situation like they did. You're watching overtime presented by Cheez-It. Double overtime from Las Cruces, New Mexico. 2nd down and 7. Louisiana Tech going first here in the second overtime. Another handoff for Wiggins. Picks up 4.
And continue to lean on those big fellas. If you go to the left side, Mike, 692 pounds combined with the left guard and left tackle. Right side, you know, you've got an enormous amount of weight combined over there. You've got to continue to use those big fellas and get behind them.
There was some movement here. The pass is thrown incomplete. A little miscommunication. I think he thought Wilkerson was going to come back to the ball, perhaps a back shoulder on the far sideline. Instead, it's incomplete, and it's now 4th and 3.
And why do you throw the ball? You've got 647 pounds on the right side, 692 on the left. You've got to continue to let those guys be who they are. Run the ball. Those 2 runs got you to 3rd and 2.
Yeah, I understood it. They haven't been all that great, though, in getting the ground game going tonight. But I know what you're saying. You got to, based on the situation, right?
That was a dangerous pass.
It was. 36-yard attempt here. Second overtime. The kick. Buchanan, it hits the upright, and it goes through. Buck Buchanan living dangerously here tonight. The entire unit, for that matter.
This has to be the most eventful kicking game of college football this season. There cannot be a game more eventful.
We've seen a little bit of everything, right?
Knuckleballs.
Yeah, snap hooks, off the post, high snaps, tough hold, you know, and absolutely.
Whatever it takes to get it through the upright.
Usually a pretty steady crew, to be honest here. I mean, he was 4 or 5 coming in. He hit from 57 earlier this season, and now this kick in double overtime puts Louisiana Tech on top 30-27. So New Mexico State, they can win it with a touchdown. From the 25. Handoff. And it's this time Mike Washington.
Number 4, Washington on the carry.
Taken down by B.J. Blake.
And good penetration up the field by Jacob Fields, number 23, but you've got to make that tackle in the backfield. A lot of missed tackles by Louisiana Tech this evening. They're right there where they need to be defensively. They're just not making the play. It's all about run fits. You've got to be in position. You've got to be able to break down. You can't come flying up out of control. You've got to be able to break down and make those tackles.
2nd down and a long 7 here. Double overtime. Nunez. Left side. It's caught on the sideline, and making the catch is Cordell David.
And watch how he gets that right foot down before the defender is able to get over there and knock him out of bounds. That was key. Good job. Actually, it was the left foot that he got down right before the defender was able to push him out of bounds.
16 yards. First down and goal. Nunez, the quarterback.
And that was the first time, Mike, that Nunez passed the football with those 3 backs in the backfield with him.
First and goal, keeper Nunez. And he goes inside the 5, and he's taken down at the 4.
Number 10.
And Nunez needs to hold that ball high and tight because defenders are reaching and pulling. Jesse Evans tried to pull that ball out on that play. So Nunez, you've got to make sure you hold the ball high and tight.
Two rushing touchdowns tonight for Brandon Nunez. Now from the 4-yard line, second and goal. New Mexico State can win it with a touchdown.
Well, he finally handed to one of those backs in his 3-back look.
Washington, touchdown, Mike Washington, double overtime. New Mexico State wins it.
And Seth McGowan with the great block on the outside to allow his running mate Mike Washington to get to the edge. And I talked about it, Mike, where they finally going to give it to the back with that 3-back look, and they finally did. Watch number 1, Seth McGowan right here. Great block on the outside. That seal block right there allowed Washington to get to the edge untouched and get to the end zone. And you see those linebackers, Fields, sitting there in the middle. He got caught up looking inside, and Blake Thompson, the defensive back, the safety, also because of Nunez running that ball with that dive play, with that 3-back look, it sucked the linebacker and safeties in, and they had to keep eyes on him because he's been so successful with it all night, and he finally handed it off, and they got the W and the win.
What a finish here tonight from Las Cruces, New Mexico. And New Mexico State wins it 33-30 in double overtime. We had 6 lead changes in this game. And the Aggies get it done for their second win of the season, going to 2-5 in the campaign. And Louisiana Tech drops to 2-4 and 1-2 in conference play. Forrest, a lot of fun tonight, man. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Appreciate our spotter, Bill Garrity, our statistician, Ed Spita. Producer tonight, Jeff Graham, with